Hello and welcome. This is ICB's Bookkeeper Discovery Day. If you're here, you're probably looking for a career that gives you confidence, work that pays well, and supportive pathways to get you to success. And I'm Amy Copeland, the CEO of the Institute of Certified Bookkeepers. We are the UK's professional body for bookkeepers, and we're here to give you the status, the skills, and the support to build a career as a bookkeeper. So, what does it mean to be a bookkeeper? Well, we're here to tell you all about it. And it's not just me. I'm here with two ICB members who have been there, done that, and are absolutely wearing the t-shirt. So, let me please welcome the lovely Lisa Peary. Good morning, Lisa.
Morning, Amy. Thanks for having me.
Whereabouts in the world are you coming from today?
I'm in Rochester, Kent.
Just again, fantastic. And if you're watching from home or you're in an office somewhere, please tell us in the chat who you are, where you come from. We'd love to know. We've got bookkeepers all around the world. And we're also joined by the fabulous Nicola Payne. Good morning.
Good morning, Amy.
How are you doing? Where are you from today?
I'm doing fine, thank you. And I'm from South Wales.
South Wales. Fantastic. Lovely. We've got some people in the chat there. Hi, Ruby. An aspiring bookkeeper from Cornwall. That sounds fabulous. Well, bookkeeping is a fantastic profession because it's scalable and it's flexible. You can get a great job as a bookkeeper working part-time or full-time, and or you could also run your business as a bookkeeper and be your own boss. And then, of course, you can set your own hours. You can employ people. You can work with other bookkeepers on a contract basis, and you have a huge amount of flexibility. And likewise, bookkeeping is something that you can take from a small couple of days a week career and build it so that you're well and truly very busy. So this could be something that really suits you, no matter how big you want your career to be. And what we do at ICB is provide you with a clear pathway so that you can become a professional bookkeeper and gain your certification as a recognized certified bookkeeper. So you are absolutely not alone. And it doesn't matter if you've got no experience in bookkeeping. Lots of our members don't. And bookkeeping is a great career if you're trying to pivot and change career, or if you're getting back into the workplace after having kids or something like that. So there's lots of different ways you can get into bookkeeping. But once you're here, you'll be supported with a fantastic community of bookkeepers. I always say all bookkeepers are incredibly friendly and really helpful. And the career of bookkeeping is absolutely booming. You might have heard of something called Making Tax Digital. It's an HMRC initiative to digitize the tax administration system. And what it means is that this year, nearly 1 million self-employed people are going to have to do digital bookkeeping and prove it to HMRC by doing quarterly updates. And that is absolutely fantastic for bookkeepers because that's exactly what they help with. So bookkeeping isn't just about simple admin. It's about keeping businesses on track, holding business owners accountable, and giving them a clear idea of how their business is doing, how the numbers add up, and really turning those numbers into a narrative that business owners can understand and use to help them go and reach the goals that they set for their business. So, bookkeeping could be something that helps you achieve your dreams by helping business owners achieve theirs. It's absolutely fantastic. Let's hear more about it from the bookkeepers who are out there doing it. So, let's start with Nicola, because I know that you established your business some years ago, and you're actually now on our advisory council. So, ICB, once you're qualified, you can become a member and benefit from that amazing community. So, Nicola, tell us a little bit about your business and how you started as a bookkeeper.
Okay, so I started back in about 2012, I think. That's when I qualified. Just started with just a very small handful of clients, mainly because I was kind of doing a little bit of bookkeeping beforehand in other jobs that I'd had along the way, and decided at some point to get qualified and then to go out on my own. So sort of had a handful of clients and just sort of got started really. And it's grown from there. So sort of 15 years later, we've got probably about 70 clients or more on the books. I have a few extra people to help me, mostly subcontractors, also ICB members mostly, and we sort of able to manage those on a day-to-day basis, week by week, month by month, whatever the processes are. So yeah, it's something that's kind of evolved over the years and sort of developed. I didn't start with a grand plan of becoming this size or getting bigger or anything, but it just kind of evolved and how it's happened along the way.
Amazing. Fantastic. So you sort of start off doing bookkeeping with one vision in mind, and then it can kind of evolve as you continue. So, Lisa, tell us about you. You set up your business slightly more recently, and you've got a lovely story.
Yes, actually, AC Bookkeeping is 4 years old tomorrow, actually. So yeah, we're celebrating 4 years in business. So I was in finance roles really for quite a number of years after having children, and obviously with bookkeeping, a big part of that role. And I felt as if there wasn't quite as much flexibility as I wanted in the workplace as there would be with my own practice of bookkeeping. And so I took those skills and I made sure all the qualifications were done. And I set up actually with my mum, who is also was sort of in the finance function of where we were working. And together we both got qualified and set up the practice. And yeah, it's grown. We again use subcontractors, ICB subcontractors. We've got employees, and we've very much grown it from the ground up with our family around us. So it was very much we started on the kitchen table, and built the business from the ground up. So yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. So there's nothing to stop you from working from your kitchen table. I'm at home right now, and that working from home dream could very much be yours, whether you want to be employed or self-employed. But it must have been, was it scary in the beginning? Nicola, I don't know if you can sort of think that far back. Whereabouts are people finding clients? And is this really something that business owners need doing?
Yeah, I guess it is a little bit scary to start with, and I think everybody's story is different as to how they start and sort of what their aspirations are and how quickly they need money, I guess, is a key factor, isn't it? So whether you go in networking straight away just to get clients straight away and do what you can to get clients on the books, or whether you just do it more of a gradual process and because you can and you're able to do so. It depends on each person, but yeah, it is a little bit scary when you first sort of go out on your own and sort of take that first sort of step and go, oh, where's my clients coming from? So you have to sort of make some sort of inroads to get yourself known out there, whether it's just by networking within your family and friend circle, or whether it's going more productive and going to a networking meeting, or whether it's, approaching accountants locally, or whatever it is you do, you need to get your name known a little bit that you are available for work. So yeah, it can be a bit scary.
Well, what we're going to do, let me just share my slides here. Now, we're at the Bookkeeping Discovery Day. We're going to make sure that you leave today with all the answers. You're going to understand what bookkeeping as a career could look like for you and how to take the next step if you do want to make this a reality. And don't worry, because we're going to record every single session and send you the recordings afterwards. So you may well be joining us afterwards right now. So this is the schedule for the day. So each of our sessions is 45 minutes long, usually starting on the hour. But we've got these two fantastic sessions run by our amazing training providers, Ideal Schools and Training Link, who are just some of the amazing training providers that will help you train to become a bookkeeper if you need those skills or you need to refresh your skills. And they're actually giving you some practical sessions at 11 o'clock and 11:45 on the fundamentals of bookkeeping, just to whet your appetite or to get you back into this headspace if you've been away from bookkeeping for a while. We've also got somebody talking more specifically about how to qualify as a bookkeeper, what the ICB pathway to becoming a certified bookkeeper is. And then we're also talking about study skills as well. And all of these sessions, we've got real bookkeepers giving their perspective and just bringing a little bit more truth, I suppose, to the proceedings. But at 2 o'clock, we're talking about how to set yourself up for success and run a great business as a bookkeeper, if that's what you want. And at 3 o'clock, we'll finish our day talking about the actual financial reality. How much is it going to cost you if you want to train or you want to set up your own business or you're looking to find a great job in bookkeeping? So a full day, but hopefully we'll finish nice and early. So if you've got other things on your agenda, you can get back to them as well. So that is our amazing day of activities. And I am going to stop sharing my screen if I can figure out how to do that. There we go. And what I really want to know, Lisa, is more about that decision you took when you decided you wanted a bit more freedom. what was kind of driving that? And I'm thinking, there's probably people sitting here today thinking, gosh, is this right? Can I take this kind of jump? What were you thinking at that time?
Yeah, well, I was very much an all or well, always been a kind of all or nothing. So I was employed and had a number of jobs, and obviously after COVID, we sort of got into that space of working from home, and it kind of opened up a lot of doors for people. So when we sort of went back into employment and having to go into the office, I found that the flexibility of working from home around young children was actually really a very good fit for my life at the time. And then going back to employment, there was so many restrictions, can't do this, working hours of this. It was really hard. And at one point, I remember asking an employer if I could actually attend my son's nativity because he hadn't done it. It was COVID, it was the first one back. And I was told no one really takes any time off in December. And I just thought, oh, he's so young. And I just I want to go. And I sort of, nothing would have got affected by the fact that I was out of the office for a couple of hours. But it just really sort of sparked my thought process into, this has got to be realistic around life. And we've all got families, young kids, parents to look after, those sorts of things. And got to have some kind of flexibility for to actually get through sort of the weeks, and life. So it kind of, I spoke to mum and I was like, well, she could see the pain of not being able to attend things like that. And she was like, right, well, we've both got this background in finance. And I said, well, I think we could make a real difference to people ourselves. So we kind of looked online and found ICB. And the reason we liked ICB was because it was dedicated to bookkeeping. And I very much, in our practice, we only do up to management accounts. We're bookkeepers only. So that's why we sort of headed that way, because we knew that our skills would lead very nicely into setting up a practice. So we investigated it and we kind of just went all in. Yeah, it was, went, I went first and I just sunk my teeth into networking and going to meet other people and talk. I mean, I probably did so much talking in that first 6 months to get people, us known and what we can do and how we can help. And then mum came from her employment and took the leap and joined me in AC, and together we just grew it authentically. Um, but it was that driving force for me. It was, I need a bit more flexibility around my children and my family, and I don't want to miss those important things in life. And bookkeeping is it's so flexible. I mean, I don't mind sometimes working later at night if it means that I've got to go to a sports day in the day. For me, it's a win-win. And as long as I find clients that appreciate that and know that that is a priority for me, and not just me, it's now rolled out to all the staff in the practice as well. If they have children that they've got to help and support or doctor's appointments, they go because it will. We're all very grateful for the fact that we have the flexibility and the work will get done. So yeah, it's just been for me just having that pressure taken off of if my children need me or if my family need me, I can be there. But I can also do a really fantastic job and help small businesses as well at the same time. It's just the best of both worlds, really, for me.
So it sounds very much like you're living the dream. A lot of us dream of this exact thing, but how did that practically work? You were actually looking after small kids. You were running your own business, trying to set it up. Like you say, you did loads of networking, spoke to lots of people. What kind of hours were you working? How has that kind of changed over time?
Yeah, at the beginning, it was very much, I was sort of, there was some networking events that were quite early in the morning. So I did have to get childcare from family. I'm lucky that my husband as well at the same time had a flexible job, which we kind of dived both into at the same time, to be honest. But so a lot of people did think, God, these two, they're absolutely mad. But we we did do it. And so we juggled the children between us. So it was, I'm not going to say that there was long hours at the beginning. Especially, and I can imagine if I was doing it from going from employment, I did sort of slowly go into it just as I was leaving my role. So there was daytime working and then catching up in the evenings with the practice and building things and getting my name out there, setting up websites, those sorts of things. It's all very much the foundations that I was doing sort of in the evenings. Then I went into the role full time, and I just, all that extra time I put into meeting people, one-to-ones, networking with local businesses, going to shows, trade shows, things like that, to sort of tell people what I'm doing and how I can help. Trying to get involved with online networking as well. That's really good. And meeting other accountants and bookkeepers that maybe get to the point where they've taken on too much work, or got some work to sort of pass out. So that was also really helpful. So just really kind of getting out from behind the screen and going out and showing people what we can do and how we can help, really. And a lot of people still at that time didn't understand the difference between a bookkeeper and an accountant. So I found myself explaining that a lot, how we can actually work day to day with the business owner, not just do sort of the year end bits and pieces. So it was, yeah, just really getting people to understand that, and building up really special relationships in business. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, let's get into
Mm.
that. What is bookkeeping? What's bookkeeping, Nicola? What are you doing all day?
What are we doing all day? Oh, lots of things. So, like Lisa was saying, it's working day to day with the business. So it's getting in and making sure that the data that we get from the clients, or their paperwork, is inputted into the system so that they have real time data to use, if they want reports and if they need access to know what their numbers are. So if that data isn't true and accurate and up to date, then it's rubbish in, rubbish out. But if it's true and accurate and up to date, then they know that their figures are correct and they can use those. And they know that when they look on whatever software they're using, that their profit and loss is there, that their bank balance is right. All those things are there. Hopefully, week by week, day by day, however often we do it, but it's accurate information. It's no good going to your accountant at the end of the year and going, oh, here's my bank statements, that's all I've got, and then having to put together a whole set of books for the whole year. But we do all that detailed stuff in the middle, and we like to get it right. We like to have every bit of paperwork. We're chasing the clients constantly for, where's this one you've missed from 3 weeks ago, things like that. We like to have all that in place to make sure that it's all accurate and it is posted to the correct nominal code and the VAT treatment is correct. We like the detail as bookkeepers. I think that's probably one of our attributes, is we like the detail and we want to make sure it's right. So that's pretty much what we do most of the time. I'm sure Lisa's a similar situation. So we're processing a lot of data. We're making sure the bank reconciles if they've got various credit card accounts and various other accounts. We're always making sure that everything is accurate and reconciled on the system so that the data is up to date. So that's pretty much what we do most of the time.
Doing a lot
Other
of
than answering the phone and answering emails and other things along the way as well.
bringing order out of chaos. And what's that like? Is that stressful? Is it satisfying, Nicola? How do you find it?
Yeah, I find it weirdly satisfying, and I think a lot of bookkeepers would probably agree. I do remember back when I first started being introduced, and it was actually via the branch meetings. A fellow bookkeeper was having to step down from a client, so I inherited that client from them. So that's another way of getting clients, is to network with your local ICB branch, or if there's not one locally, try and network with other bookkeepers locally. But I remember working with that client, and I used to go up to their office every week. Back in those days, went on site every week, and they were in a real mess, completely in a real mess. And it was just really satisfying to get to the point where we could actually say, week by week, we were getting on top of their supplier payments and making sure that their suppliers were paid on time. Whereas before, they were constantly having phone calls going, you haven't paid us this, you haven't paid us that. But knowing to the point, and after a sort of a few weeks, a few months down the line, he was like, oh yeah, you've made sure we've got on top of that, haven't you? And I'm thinking, well, yes, that's kind of what we do. But he was quite shocked, but it was very satisfying as well to know that we'd got to that point, that we'd brought, order from that mess that they were in, and we could keep on top of it then going forward. So yes, I think that is that job satisfaction. Absolutely.
Incredible. So really making an impact on businesses. And when you're running your own business as a bookkeeper, you are going to be able to have multiple clients, however many or as few as you want. Lots of bookkeepers meeting these clients in their day-to-day, on the school run, through their family network, but also getting out there and meeting new business owners. So you could have that opportunity to run your own business, work with lots of different clients, or you could be employed in someone else's firm or work freelance, but for somebody else's clients, if you want to have that variety of lots of different businesses. Or you could be employed in any business in the world. Every single business needs their books doing. And that really, I suppose, is the distinction between the bookkeeper and the accountant. The bookkeeper is there every day of the year, holding those businesses accountable and helping them in a really tangible way. And I quite often say bookkeepers are not just for Christmas. They are there day in, day out, helping businesses practically and being incredibly useful. And what that gives you as a bookkeeper is this incredible power to really make a difference for those businesses because you end up just knowing so much about them in a way that sometimes that high street accountant who typically will come in at the end of the year and help with tax, that sort of accountant doesn't necessarily have that close working relationship. So, Lisa, how do you work with your clients? Do you feel like you get quite close to the businesses that you
Oh,
support?
absolutely, yeah. I think it would be hard to do a really good and satisfying job if we didn't get quite close to the business owners. I always do ask when we're taking on a new client how they prefer their communication. So, some people, for example, they live their life on Instagram and WhatsApp. So sometimes getting hold of someone is easier on WhatsApp to ask questions and things like that. So it's always a good
Mm.
way to first find out how they prefer their lines of communication. Obviously, there's certain things that have to be done in a very safe way for transmitting data, but there's it's a good way to start, I think, an open relationship. We also love, I always go and meet my clients in person. We do have some that are a bit further away, so obviously Zoom calls can take place as well. But generally, I do like to visit their place of work, meet their team, because, ultimately I'm coming in as part of their team. So I need to get to know the people I'm speaking to on a day to day and who I'm asking for receipts and things like that. So, yeah, I always try and get to know and sort of almost insert myself into the business quite neatly and nicely. And I always make it very clear that I'm there to answer all questions. There is no question that's too silly or, that they shouldn't ask. Completely open book, and I want them to be able to build up that trust because I've always said that I do honestly feel that whenever someone does want you to work within their business and looking at their business finances, it's a real honor and a privilege to actually be let into that world. Um, and I do think that there is a level of trust there that you do have to build on. And then, you over time, like as Nicola said, it's not an overnight process. You have to get things sorted, sort out of a bit of a mess sometimes. But over time, you will streamline it. And then you're in a really great position because you know that business inside and out. And you can start maybe saying, offering a little bit of advice, saying, "Oh, I've just seen this bill in particular has risen by 50% over the last 3 months. Should we have a look at that and see if there's something we can do to save a bit of money?" You're in there, you're looking at the data, and you can show them where to look. You can show them what it could be possible with cash flows. So, and it really gives them, when you see a business owner's eyes light up because they've got confidence in some decisions that they're going to make, that really for me is the key because I just feel like you can't just buy confidence in your business. It's a trust and a long process. But if people are willing to put that in and hand that over to a qualified bookkeeper, I haven't had anyone yet that's regretted it.
That sounds wonderful. Nicola, why aren't people doing their own books? Surely there's software that can do all this for them these days.
Yeah, well, there definitely is software, and we use software, but often they don't quite know what they're doing with it. And so they might press the wrong button and do the wrong thing. So it takes a qualified bookkeeper to know how to treat certain things because it's not, I mean, they talk about automation and that the software can just do it for them just by pressing a button and letting it carry on. You think, well, no, not really. There's still things that we as qualified bookkeepers need to decide, make a decision on a certain transaction as to what it actually is defined as. And we need to sometimes ask the client, what was this for? Because we might not know by looking at it anyway, whether it was entertainment or staff welfare or whatever it was, this bit of food that they went and bought at a cafe. So, we need to know what the context around that transaction was sometimes. And software is never going to know that. It just won't. So I think there's always going to be the need for that bookkeeper to make those decisions and to get the right information first in order to process those transactions.
Fantastic. Somebody actually just asked the question, are we going to be talking about how much to charge people, how to price your services as a bookkeeper? We certainly are talking about that. I would recommend you come to our session at 2 o'clock, where we're going to be talking to two more successful business owners, talking about how they run their business, how they, how you can earn lots of money just working a couple of hours a week if you want to, and how you might want to scale that as well. But obviously, ultimately, it's up to you if you're running your business. But that's one of the great things about the ICB community and the support that you get after you're qualified. So, in order to run a business as a bookkeeper in the UK that is invoicing clients for your work, you do need to have anti-money laundering supervision. You have to be licensed for that by a recognised AML supervisor, of which ICB is one. And you can also be directly supervised by HMRC if you would like to be. And one of the benefits, I think, of being supervised by ICB is that you get loads of support with it. Anti-money laundering sounds like terrifying, probably. But all of our new practices get an onboarding call, and we talk to you about what anti-money laundering means, how you can put that into practice in your business, and how you can make sure that you're complying with the legal requirements. But you also get all sorts of other support as well. We have a technical advice line, so if you want to call up and say, how do I treat this expense? What's the kind of tax treatment or the VAT treatment on that? We can help you with that. And we've got a legal advice line as well. And we've also got an incredible community. So you guys have both talked a little bit about, mentioned the branches that we've got. We've got a very supportive branch network of bookkeepers who are employed, self-employed, at different stages of their career, but united by this love of helping each other and supporting the ICB community. It's such a funny thing, because I think it's very sort of defining part of being a bookkeeper is that you become part of this kind of group of wonderful people who are there to just back you as well. Lisa, how do you feel? You've also mentioned that you employ ICB bookkeepers as well. How much impact has the community had on you and your career as a bookkeeper?
Yeah, I mean, it's been invaluable to us as a practice. Firstly, that we have the backing of ICB. So if there's anything we're unsure of, anything, we can't. We've never run a business before when we started this, so there are so many questions. I can do the bookkeeping all day long, but it was the actual running of the business that was sometimes a little bit difficult. So really great at the beginning, so supportive in regards to getting everything set up. And then obviously as you're going along, if there are any tax queries, anything like that, ICB has always been there. I actually am co-chair of the Kent branch for ICB. So I run that with Paula, and we've, again, by just being part of that branch, I've met so many local business owners, bookkeepers to myself, work with them now. We pass work, and they're just it's another group of supportive people that we've all got different skills. We've all got different outlooks on things. So it's always great to just chuck a question in there and see, get the support that you need. You just don't feel alone when you're part of this community. It can be at the beginning, you are literally sitting at the kitchen table doing it on your own. But then you realise you've got this whole community support behind you, and it really does make you feel as if you're not actually doing it alone. And you've got so many people you can outreach to, ask questions, and even if it's just to check, would you do this? How would you do it? It's just they're just there, yeah, and they're really, really friendly as well. The branch meetings are great, and yeah, I would really suggest if anyone is getting involved with RCB to get in touch with your local branch, because it's been invaluable for us.
That sounds lovely. And Nicola, you're very big in the community. You've run a branch. You're on the advisory council. Do you think it is something that you have lent on in the past, and something that potentially could help you, particularly if, like some of these people in the chat, you've got no experience as a bookkeeper?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I first started, the branch here was running, so yeah, I went along all the time, and that was exactly where I met my local group of people and got work from them, got experience, was a safe place to ask questions. Absolutely formed that network there, and then over the years formed the network with the wider ICB community. And obviously, you're now part of the advisory council and got the community there. So I think, yeah, you sort of develop that, and then going to the larger events, the Inspire or the Summit, you sort of meet new people as well, and you gain that larger community that you can then lean on. And I think, and one of my subcontractors, I gained by the International Women's Day we had several years ago. That was on one of the speed dating things they sort of did on that day, which was rather strange. But I'm thinking, oh, I know you, because I'd seen her post in the Facebook group that she was a new starter, and we arranged to have a chat afterwards. And that, she's been with me ever since, and doesn't really want her own clients, is quite happy subcontracting, and is a bit scared to take her own clients on. So there's a place for everybody, and it's in these sort of events that we do meet new starters and people that are looking for work. And sometimes we can give that sort of either work experience, so to speak, or just, yeah, we need some help, we're struggling because we're so overwhelmed with what we've got going. So it can benefit in both ways, all around. So I think the wider community is fantastic, and I think, get involved, get your name out there, and sort of meet people, and yeah, you won't regret it, really.
Absolutely brilliant. And these events are in person and online, so we do a bit of both depending on what you prefer. And we also host the biggest event for bookkeepers in the whole world, in fact, the Bookkeepers Summit, which is annual, and it's in London this year. It's on the 16th of November. You can come to a lot of these events as a non-member, but if, of course, you're a certified bookkeeper, you get special savings on all these tickets, and there's lots of exclusive member events as well. Um, One of the things also I think is quite defining about ICB is that we try to make our route into the profession as flexible as possible. And that really has changed the way that ICB looks. Like Nicola touched on, there's something for everyone here. And when you train to become a certified bookkeeper, every single one of your exams is online. So you can take those remotely. You can take them from home, from the kitchen table that we keep talking about. And if you've got a supportive employer, and you should definitely try to get them involved if you can, you might even be able to do that in your normal workplace. And that just means that you are then in control of when you qualify. So we're going to be talking to people later today. And there's Mal, he's going to be talking about study skills. He actually qualified in just a couple of months. Most of our bookkeepers, if you're coming to this completely fresh and you've got something else you're doing during the day, you've got kids to look after in the evening, you are going to be taking probably a year to 2 years to qualify as a bookkeeper. And just while we're talking about qualifications and what's the difference between accountants and bookkeepers, bookkeepers can qualify to do tax returns and final accounts. So that's publishing accounts to Companies House, filing tax returns with HMRC. If you want to, you can qualify in those services. But our core qualifications are at level 2 and level 3, which cover bookkeeping, VAT, drafting, year-end accounts for internal purposes for the business owner. And then if you choose to go into that sort of more statutory stuff, the stuff where you're liaising with government bodies, that's our level 4, and that is optional. And the great thing about our level 4 is you can pick and choose which ones you want to do. So with some other bodies like AAT, if you want to do level 4, you've got to do the whole chunk. So you've got to invest in the whole thing, and you cannot provide any of those services until you've done the whole suite. So we've made that very intentionally different because we want it to be flexible and support the career that you want. So typically, our bookkeepers will actually do the core bookkeeping and then come back when they're ready, when they've got clients or they've got employers who are asking for additional skills. So a very popular one is payroll. Certainly, if you're running a practice, you may find that makes your clients really sticky, or they come to you and they say, actually, do you know what? I don't want to pay for somebody else to do it, or, this person in my business doesn't know how to do this properly. And that's a great role for you because it means that you're then just in control of even more things that your client is asking you for. We've got payroll and then quite often self-assessment as well. So what about you, Nicola? What kind of qualifications have you got and what services do you offer your clients?
So yeah, I did my core bookkeeping courses and then I chose to do payroll straight away as well. So I've got my payroll exam and then in during COVID I did the self-assessment so I can offer those skills. So I've just got the one level 4 qualification. But interestingly with the payroll, I remember doing payroll back in the day when I was working in a different job manually on the threefold big massive paper copy where you had to handwrite everything out. So I'm thinking I learned to do it myself from scratch back in the day, which was quite funny thinking about it. And then obviously I did the payroll exam when I qualified. I thought, oh yeah, it's much easier on software. But yeah, so it's so yeah, I felt the payroll was important because, like you say, if clients come to you and they want your general bookkeeping and payroll, they kind of go together quite nicely. So it was a good fit to be able to offer all those services. I did the self-assessment a couple of years ago mainly because I wanted to foolproof my practice for when MTT came in, that I was able to do the full service for that. So I've been doing that for a couple of years now. Um, yeah, so yeah, it's tough, that one. It is a tough exam. But did find I learned a lot through it as well. I did find I gained an awful lot of basic understanding as well as the tax return side of things, but just a lot more of the basic understanding, which was interesting. So yeah.
Amazing. That's very exciting. So, and also another skill we've got at level 4 is the management reporting. And we've mentioned management reporting as well. Lisa, you said that you don't do the tax. Was that, did you do that on purpose? Is that because you chose not to do it, or your clients don't need it, or you like something else about the bookkeeping?
I because I run the practice with my mum. We kind of really sat down and discussed because it is going to be almost like a lifestyle business, around our lives as well and the family, what we wanted to do. Mum actually had many years' experience in payroll, so she did that qualification. But we decided to stop at level 3 for now. And that's not to say never, but because I really, really enjoy getting to know business owners on the day to day. I didn't want to muddy the waters for me with saying, oh, we can do this extra bit here or extra bit there. We just really wanted to hone in and concentrate on the fact that we do the day-to-day bookkeeping up to providing some reports for the business owners to start making some decisions. That's kind of how we wanted our practice to run. And everyone that I take on generally they are all qualified ICB up to level 3. So I have a couple of people that do offer self-assessments on level 4 that I work closely with in the ICB community. So what I always do is pass them the work rather than take it on ourselves. That's not to say in the future we're not going to change that, but for now we prefer to really hone in on the day-to-day with the business owners and really get those relationships going nicely for them.
Fantastic. That just does just show that flexibility, I think. And also, if you've got clients asking for these services, put them in touch with somebody else from the community who you know is trusted and as qualified as you are. Absolutely fantastic. And so these we've only got 5 minutes left, really, which is frustrating because there's so much wisdom that Lisa and Nicola have, and I'd love to find out more about it. But we've got loads and loads of sessions coming up later in the day, and somebody's asked about, how much are you earning? What's the salary? We've got a session dedicated to how much this is going to cost and how much it's going to pay. It's called The Financials, and it's at 3 p.m. today, or of course you can watch it on catch up and you'll get the recording. Anna G has just asked, what's the correlation between ICB and AAT? Well, with AAT, you can become a qualified bookkeeper, a QB. With us, we provide you with the certification, certified bookkeeper, which is just a level above. So it's much more because we are dedicated to bookkeepers and not accounting technicians. We've designed our qualification and our membership structure to reflect the job of a bookkeeper specifically. So our qualification is very practical and really goes in depth into bookkeeping. So we have very similar, all the levels have the same name, level two, level three, level four. But our level two and three go further than AATs. They go a little bit into AAT's level four. So the difference really is that you can be doing at level two and three the books for limited companies and not-for-profits and small charities and clubs, as well as sole traders and partnerships. So you can work with a greater range of businesses. And we all also give you different skills in how to deal with slightly more complex accounts. So you can do things like adjustments and prepayments and accruals and tasty things like that, which are going to crop up in your day-to-day work. So it's a little bit more of an intense qualification. I think one of our members called it meaty. But what we do like to say is that it's very lean. We're not teaching you stuff that's irrelevant. And that means it's really easy to progress through the levels and really get a fantastic practical real world qualification at the end of it. Now, if you are qualified with AAT, that is wonderful. We will recognize that as long as you are qualified within the last 5 years. And we will help you do that bridging to map your skills across to ICB. And we've got quite often we will ask you to do this one bridging paper to cover that skills gap. And we have textbooks and we've got online hubs and study resources to help you make that transition. Likewise, if you have qualifications with ACCA or ICAW or other accounting bodies, we will look to recognize those as long as you have achieved those within the set period of time, which is usually 2 to 5 years. And also, if you've got work experience, often we can accept that as well and provide you with certain exemptions, which means you don't have to do all the exams. But if you are going to become a certified bookkeeper, you have to do at least one exam with us. But like I say, that is going to be an online exam. So super duper flexible. And let's finish off by let me just ask, Lisa, if you were talking to yourself 4 years ago before you made that leap, what advice would you give yourself and anybody that's listening today?
It was one of the best decisions I made for myself and my family. So I would say to myself, don't hesitate, just go. Just do it. Just jump in, give it everything you've got, as you know, because the quicker you can get your name out there and the quicker you can get qualified and get things set up, you will start flying with the backing of ICB. Um you'll just go for it. So get out there, get networking, yeah, and don't hesitate. I did at one point, I did hesitate, thinking, this is a big jump, this is a big leap, but I think you just got to trust in yourself, and I wouldn't change it. I'd go back and do it all again.
Fantastic. And Nicola, in particular, I'd love you if you could, particularly for somebody who has never even thought about bookkeeping until today, they've got no experience. Is it true that you can actually have a successful, happy career as a bookkeeper?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course you can. And I would say, yeah, go for it. But go for what's right for you. If you want to be self-employed or you want to be employed or you want to subcontract, do what's right for you. Don't just say, I have to start my own practice. Anything is possible, but do what's right for you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us today. I hope that ICB can provide that route for you to get the career of your dreams, whether that's through employment, self-employment, maybe a bit of both. But we are here to be your career lifetime partner, and we will provide you with the status, the skills, and the support to make a real success as a bookkeeper. So good luck with your journey. Don't hesitate to get in touch with our team. We're open 8:30 to 5:30, 5 days a week. And we have got lots and lots of sessions coming up very shortly. So see you there. Bye.